Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine, and today I will be reading from the Wanderer's Tarot. So the spread that I'm going to use today is not a spread, kind of as I explained in the review that goes along with this deck. And if you care to watch the review, I will put a link to that in the description box below. The booklet that comes with this doesn't really give a spread as much as it gives a process of using the cards. And this process is called the Journey of Consciousness. So the theme of this deck is the Wanderer's Tarot. It's travel, it's journeying, and it could be a physical, a mental, or an emotional journey, or a spiritual journey that the querent is undertaking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the cards, but I'm going to cut them in 3 roughly equal piles. The first will represent the departure. The second will represent the arrival, and the third represents the return. How do we get back to where we began? Or do we get back to where we began? Sometimes we go back to where we began, and that's the same place, but we're a different person. All right, arrival. Departure, arrival, and then return. All right, I have a new trick today, so I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras here. And you can see my table. And if you've been following my channel at all, you'll notice I used to use a blue cloth, but the blue was reflecting back into the cameras awkwardly. So, let's square up to you guys a bit. Not the opposite effect of what I was wanting. There we go. There we go. A little bit of OCD there. We all got it. You know it. Okay, so for our first card, the departure, we have the 7 of Cups. So the 7 of Cups is usually indicating distractions. It's talking about all of the things that we have to contend with when we're trying to focus on a journey. So if you think of a journey as a pathway to a goal, the 7 of Cups at the departure here can represent all of the distractions, or it could be an unclear goal. Sometimes the goal is, oh my gosh, I just want to get out of this situation. I don't care where I go. And that seems to be what's going on in our first layer of departure here. Let's learn a little bit more about the departure. I'm going to continue on and do a couple more cards from this first pile here. So, okay, our departure, 7 of Cups, Death, 6 of Swords. So our departure begins with the 7 of Cups, a little bit unfocused, undirected. There is not a vector for this journey. It's just the desire to get going. In order to really have a journey, you have to be willing to be transformed. You have to be willing to focus. And when I look at the Death card, I always think of the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. If you think about it, the caterpillar doesn't really know where it's going. It just knows what it has to do. It just knows it has to munch all the leaves it can and build itself a cocoon. That is the expanse of what it knows. And it's just an instinctive thing. It's just getting out of this first stage and building that cocoon. But once you build the cocoon, the little caterpillar, little pupa inside there completely melts. There is nothing left of the little creature inside. It's just like a pile of organs and goo inside this cocoon. And that's the death phase. That's where we have to reimagine ourselves. It's where we have to reimage ourselves. It's where we have to grow our wings. So as we're in this departure, we've got to have a goal. We've got to have something in mind of a direction that we want to go in. And that direction is transformation. What is going to not just get out of the situation, but actually transform you so that the situation no longer sticks to you, so that you don't leave and you just find the same situation that you had before. You must be transformed. You must go through this cycle of death and transformation. You have to be like the little caterpillar inside the cocoon. You melt down, everything changes, but then the wings form, and then you have the ability to break out, which takes effort. If you've ever watched a little butterfly or a moth getting out of their cocoon, it takes a lot of effort. And you have to let them have that effort, otherwise their wings will never be strong enough to fly. And that's what this final card is. This is the Six of Swords. This is where you fly. This is, it's a little hard to see. Get a little closer there. Yeah. We've got two little guys in a boat, which of course has the Six of Swords. Very Rider-Waite-Smith in its presentation, but it's a nice little steamboat that they got going on there. So the idea is that you go from a place of not knowing, just knowing that you got to get out, and then through this piece of transformation, a period of transformation, you figure out a goal. And that's the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is pressing towards a goal. It's going in a direction. So how do we know when we've gotten there? Let's look at the next set. The Arrival. Knight of Cups. Three of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles. So in our process of arriving, the most important part is actually getting ourselves there emotionally. So let's think about this Knight of Cups, who, you know, sometimes the Knight of Cups can be a rather superficial character. It can be somebody who's rather charming but not necessarily sincere. It can be somebody who's flirtatious but not really interested in a relationship. It can be somebody who likes to just kind of try things out but isn't quite ready to commit. And that doesn't necessarily mean relationship. It could mean, wow, I'd like to try a hobby, or I'd like to try an activity, or I'd like to try this job, but I'm not 100% sure that I want to do this job for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. I'm not sure if I want to invest a whole lot of money in this hobby. I just kind of want to see if I like it. Maybe I'll just take a class. That's your Knight of Cups. It's kind of like, oh, let's test it out and see. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to reserve any commitment, though. So this Knight of Cups goes with the Seven of Cups very, very well, because the Seven of Cups is very non-committal. The Seven of Cups here, you know, Knight of Cups here below the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups doesn't really know what it wants, but you know, that Knight of Cups, it's willing to go try. It's willing to kind of like step out and give some things a little bit of a shot. So as this Knight of Cups has stepped out, you get to the Three of Pentacles, which is working together. It is a coordinated effort. It's a little bit of working under direction. And it's a little nascent in that it's the first card that really defines, in this case, the Pentacle suit, or the suit of Earth. It's the first one that's really getting manifested. Your Ace of Pentacles and your Two of Pentacles are very ideological. Once you get into that Three of Pentacles, it's starting to relate to things that are actually happening, actually can be touched, tasted, and felt. So this Three of Pentacles, has, you know, one little man working on the direction of, looks like an aristocrat and a clergy member. Very typical Rider-Waite-Smith type decks. So it means that, like, as this transformation is happening, and you're arriving, you know, at your temporary destination, there's some work involved. There's some things that maybe you weren't sure about, but you're a little bit more willing to give it a shot. You're willing to commit some effort to producing something that you can be proud of, that you can be excited about, that you can take with you as a positive piece of your journey, a positive lesson. And then we move on to that Four of Pentacles, which is, a symbology of taking it with you. Four of Pentacles can be kind of a greedy card, it can be a miserly card, or in this traveling situation, it can be the idea of taking what's important with you and then leaving the other things behind. So that is Four of Pentacles right here. So you move from the 3 to the 4, taking it with you. Okay, so now let's look at our bottom line here. Let me make a little more space. So we have plenty, everybody can see. And our bottom line here is going to be the return. How do we get back home? What are we taking with us back home? So we've got Page of Wands, Page of Cups, and 10 of Cups. So as we have gone through this journey and are making our way home, think of yourself as the 6 of Wands. You're making your way back from this triumphal journey. And it's Page of Wands, Page of Cups, 10 of Cups. So our pages are this wonderful inaugural energy of learning, of growth, of expansion and delight. Our Page of Wands is that helpful friend, that bearer of good news, somebody who's earnest and loving and optimistic and on fire. Beyond optimism, they're on fire for this idea. The Page of Cups is a person who is learning to deal with their emotions, who's perhaps fascinated by their emotions, even though they don't know quite what to do with them. Somebody who's interested in love, who's interested in growth, but hasn't quite got the tools yet to be able to manifest these things, to be able to actually work on them, but they're learning. It's a process, and they're at the beginning of the process. So finally, we've got our 10 of Cups. Now, a 10 can be a conclusion, or it can be a leveling up. It can be a beginning. And with these two pages here, I think what we have here is a new beginning. So where we begin here with the 7 of Cups, of not knowing what is wanted, not knowing what is needed, but just knowing you've got to get out of this situation and make some progress and move on, you come all the way down here to the 10 of Cups with the triumphal return of having leveled up, gone to a new level, having a new beginning, having some joy. And part of it could be finding some contentment, using this 10 of Cups as a symbol of having made a choice, and then being able to grow it and develop it and find joy in it. So the cups are a very emotional card. They're the water card. They're the fluidity. They're the change in the tarot. And so as we're looking for some change, but we don't know what it is, through the journey process, you do find out what it is. You do find out what's important to you. You find out what work is meaningful to you. You take that with you, and you're able to develop it and grow these ideas. And where we had our our Knight of Cups, doesn't know what they want, not really ready to commit, you get down here to these pages, and they do have this idea of what they want to do and how they want to commit to these ideas and how they want to grow. They have a grasp of the information, they have a grasp of the idea, and they're willing to move forward with it. That's the page energy versus the ace energy. Aces are new beginnings, restarts, fresh ideas, but the pages are also the ability to start moving forward with that. So from this journey of consciousness, we've certainly gone from a place of indecision through learning and actually taking some action, taking some direction. Even though not really ready to commit, that's okay. You don't, it's like I tell my sons who are in college, it's like you don't have to have the whole picture right now. Just try something that A, you like, and B, has some career. You have to find something that's going to make you money outside of college too. But and it is true to a certain extent. If you love what you do, you'll find a way to make money at it. But sometimes that is a little harder than other times. But here's where you have found out a way to make it work. Where you have found the way, the sponsors or the employers or the investors that are willing to back your idea, that are willing to support your idea or pay you for your idea. But this guy here is getting paid by these two guys here, so that's a pretty good position to be in. And it's something you can take with you. It's very concrete. And it fosters new ideas and new growth. And it's an up-leveling. So this becomes your new home at the Ten of Cups, and then your cycle can begin anew, starting from here into a new journey, into new growth, into new ideas. Okay? So, keep moving forward. Get back. Keep moving forward. Alrighty. Anything else? Let's draw an oracle card. I'll do this deck. I'll do a review of this deck later in this week. It's the Zoological Oracle, and it's a bunch of cute little steampunk critters. They're absolutely adorable. Let's do a card. And one more. Okay. We'll take it. Let me blast over here. This is card 20, the 9-banded armadillo. So this deck is from an Australian artist author. So a lot of the critters in this tend to be critters from down under. Although I believe the 9-banded armadillo may be a native of Texas, as I recall seeing a lot of those living in the South. So let's look at this. With glasses. It is no contradiction to be compassionate and guarded. Indeed, it is the softness of your underbelly that warrants your hardened exterior. One warm night does not make a summer make, and one act of goodness does not warrant your absolute trust. People show themselves in consistency. Wear your armor and say no with pride. Those who don't or won't hear your no don't deserve your yes. So, when you're thinking about this in context of leaving a situation and trying to find a new situation, this certainly does advise on being wary of who you can trust. And the ones that you can trust are the ones that are actually willing to put something forward and compensate you for your effort. All right. Keep moving forward. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.